You know, with the entire galaxy at stake, maybe moving faster than Stroll would be called for. Sergeant Bed, with 2 Ds on account of he's an alien, is the leader of these special forces that are here to back me up now that I've done all the heavy lifting.
Don't be a fool. Surrender.
For the Emperor's glory, die and be reborn.
Well, it may shock you to learn that the battle cry of "let's all die" is not as effective as you might think. So we kind of mop the floor with them. Well, once again, the galaxy has been saved, and now we can check to see if there's any valuable information on his... Oh shit, the bombs. Okay, well, we've managed to save the galaxy. Kira, remind me next time you and I should probably split up when we're searching for the galaxy-destroying bombs, because this wasn't exactly my sharpest moment. I suppose it must have taken a little while to cut through the red tape when you're in the middle of a massive planet-wide riot. Anyway, now that this business is done, we gotta go see the Colonel about our little friend.
Colonel Bartaff, I was told you wanted to see me.
First, let me express my gratitude. Your actions saved many Republic soldiers.
I'm always glad to help the Republic Army.
Some of my superiors don't trust your order. They'll have to revise their opinions after this. I won't waste your time, but there's something I need you to clear up for me. My forces apprehended this prisoner during the riots. I need to know why one of the galaxy's worst criminals was helping you.
Oh, so he's not a guard, he's a prisoner. Well, let's go ask him. It's not like I can read minds or anything. What was the reason that you helped me out?
I came here a decade ago as a prisoner, and I deserved it. I did things you don't want to know about. Being on Belsavis, surrounded by scum just like me, it opened my eyes. Even if I could never leave here, I could still change. It took years, but I did it. The warden made me an honorary guard. Said I earned that.
You worked hard to turn your life around, and he rewarded you for it.
I'm trying to make up for the terrible things I've done. The warden gave me that chance.
So you claim. Unfortunately, we have no evidence to support your story. It's possible the records were destroyed in all the chaos. However, it's also possible you're lying.
Whatever he used to be, he's changed. I couldn't have saved Belsavis without him.
Now you see my dilemma. I don't want to imprison someone who doesn't deserve it, but I don't want to set a criminal free.
I couldn't have completed my mission without Pac. He's earned his freedom.
I'm not authorized to let Pac leave Belsavis, but I can see that he is restored to his guard status.
This means everything to me. Thank you both.
Well, how about that, Kira? Rehabilitation on Belsavis of all places. If there's hope here, maybe there's even hope for Doc.
I could have gone home, had a safe medical practice, and died of boredom. But I'm a man of action. You have any idea how many people have tried to kill me for bringing quality healthcare to their planets?
While Kira is the sole romance option for male Jedi, Doc is the sole romance option for female Jedi. His personality is polarizing, though, which makes that a bit of a problem. As one player told me, she always plays a male Jedi and role plays as if she was playing Kira in their relationship. It's understandable, even leaving aside how full of himself he is. Doc is always speaking of the many women he's taken to his bed, and role-playing as someone's latest conquest isn't really going to be everyone's cup of tea. All in all, when it comes to scoundrels, I much prefer Galt Renault. There's a refreshing honesty about his dishonesty, while Doc feels a bit self-deluded.
We never got a chance to catch up, but, hey, that's her on the holo. Probably wants to say thanks. Hey, pretend you work for me, all right? You look terrific, Prudy. Have you lost weight? Love the new hairstyle.
2 years without so much as a holo, and that's all you can say. You abandoned me at our wedding.
Wow, this conversation got entertaining in a hurry.
I thought you loved me. You said all those wonderful things on Ord Mantell.
Prudy, sweetheart. Those were sweet nothings. You should never take those at face value.
My parents flew all the way from Coruscant for a wedding that never happened. You loathsome cad. I wish I'd never met you.
Look on the bright side, Prudy. You still have that hospital I bought you.
The gangsters burned it to the ground.
When he's not working towards or talking about getting laid, his lamentation is the lack of wider recognition. Yes, saving lives is rewarding, and Doc is not above boning grateful patients whose lives he's saved. But the fact that the recognition and advancement goes to those who are part of the establishment really rankles him.
Tell you this much. Enough's enough. No more Mr. Nice Doc. The galaxy's gonna find out what a real physician looks like. I gotta find a disease to cure. Something really unpleasant.
Fully motivated by his hipstercratic oath, Doc searches high and low for a disease and even briefly contemplates making one. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he's joking. Finally, though, he turns to our old friend Nem'ro.
My friend's old employer is a Hutt cartel boss named Nem'ro. He's infected with an incurable disease. It's eating him alive. Literally. No one's ever cured what Nem'ro has. He'll pay top credits to any doctor who can save his life. This is my big chance.
Doc learned about this through an old flame, and now that he's got a treatment ready, she's going to come to help him carry it across the finish line.
When I save Nem'ro's life, the Hollow journalists will be all over me. Oh, here she comes. Look at you, gorgeous. Love the new tattoo, huh? Nice gun.
Let's get this over with. I don't enjoy playing hostage. Not for you, anyway.
Khalio's here just to make sure that Nem'ro doesn't get any ideas that Doc should stay on permanently as his physician. Fortunately, Doc's treatment is a success. Nem'ro's already starting to recover, so he's quite pleased with himself.
This is the worst day of my life. Some idiot bounty hunter killed Nem'ro the Hutt before the Journal of Xenomedicine could examine him. They can't verify my treatment worked because Nem'ro's a big messy puddle of goo. There's no proof I saved him.
Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thy chance to show how big thine dick is. Still, Doc may be a narcissistic, horny glory hound, but at the end of the day, his heart's desire is to save lives, which means he's on the right ship, given what we're doing.
Without your help, the Emperor would have destroyed us all. You're a hero.
I've even got the medals to prove it. Point is, if you hadn't taken me along for this ride, I would have missed out. I appreciate that. In fact, I am offering free medical care for you and anyone else you want. Lifetime guarantee.
That's very generous, especially considering all the trouble we get in. You're making a big commitment.
If I'd thought about that before saying it, probably wouldn't have used the word free.
Mr. Satele, Executor Kranis and his followers are dead. Belsavis is safe.
The galaxy is in your debt once again, but I fear this is far from over.
The Emperor would never devote all his resources to Belsavis. We must find his other targets.
There is a rumor of high-ranking Sith gathering at a remote Imperial space station, allegedly on the Emperor's orders. One of our best scouts volunteered to investigate. He's disappeared.
Yeah, it turns out this scout is the same guy who got all bent out of shape because I was going on that mission to fight the Emperor, just because he foresaw me going to the dark side. Now, before you say, well, isn't that what happened to you? First, shut up. And second, that's not what happened. I was being controlled. That's not the way the dark side works. You're not controlled by the dark side. You give in and you change your personality as a result. Look, all I'm saying is there's a world of difference between an alcoholic who falls off the wagon and an alcoholic who's strapped down in a chair and has booze poured down his throat.
Station Korriban's flame to unidentified vessel. You have violated Imperial space. Submit your security clearance or be destroyed.
You said I could leave this to you. Go ahead.
Transmitting clearance code now.
Stand by while I... We're so pleased you're here, Grand Moff. You'll find our security airtight.
That is unlikely.
I've cleared a docking bay for you. Please proceed with your landing, sir.
I suppose front end or back end, either way we're going to pay trying to rescue this scout. I had been hoping for a stealthy approach, but as Clifford the Big Red Dog here points out, there's going to be an honor guard now. But at least they're not going to try to shoot us down on our way in, so we got that going for us. We did come saying we were concerned about security, so I think that testing it technically qualifies. So we fight our way through the station till we finally find that Zabrak, along with a familiar face.
Right on time. You're practically a droid. I knew if I applied the right stimulus, you couldn't resist coming here.
Something's wrong with Leeha. She's not herself. She tricked me.
Jomar was chasing proof you'd fallen to the dark side. He fell into my trap like a greedy child.
Yeah, it turns out this whole situation is a 7-layer dip of awkwardness. The most spicy being the fact that these two have been lovers, and she's offering to rekindle that.
You remember the meaties? I gave my little droid friends a few upgrades I think you'll enjoy. Briefly.
Yeah, you do realize I faced an entire army of killer robots to get in here. That the fact that you've added some kind of murder protocol to what is, to be generous, a floating tricorder is not really making me nervous right now.
Stop! 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 Where are we?
Leeha, it's me. You're going to be all right.
My poor droids. How did we get here?
How do I put this? You ever see The Hangover? Well, picture that, except you became a murdering fascist. Hey, don't feel bad. I'm the president of that club here. A good friend here is going to take her back to Tython to get some help.
I have no right to ask you for anything, but the Council doesn't need to know about us. Please, keep our relationship to yourself.
There's a war on. I don't care about your indiscretion.
Thank you. I'm sorry for all of this. I was wrong about you.
Hey, it all worked out. If you hadn't come here looking for proof that I was some kind of dark Jedi, then we wouldn't have found her and been able to break the Emperor's control over her. So I call this a win. Plus, he also found out that there's something going on Voss that's very important for the Emperor's current plans. So I got a feeling that that's going to be our next stop.
That is disturbing news. Voss was discovered only recently. Its society is dangerously unbalanced. The people worship an elite group of Force users who rule with absolute authority. Despite our best efforts, Voss's government rejects the Jedi Code.
The Emperor has always taken a great interest in that world. I thought he sought to conquer it, but clearly he intends its destruction.
Go to Voss. Find Lord Fulminiss and stop his plans.
Seems Master Satele has a real bug up her ass about the Voss. They claim their path is neutral, but she sees it as a form of the dark side because the mystics have control over the whole of Voss society. The dark side is subtle and insidious, yes, but there's nothing to suggest that domination is their goal, or that anger, fear, or aggression are behind their actions. The one thing I've learned since leaving Tython is that the Jedi adopt rigid rules when our core philosophies would serve as better guides. The feelings between our two Jedi friends, for instance. Who's to say how much the love that others would condemn wasn't a significant reason that she was able to overcome what the Emperor was doing? We treat as rules what is clear to me now should be guidelines, that they should inform our actions, but not dictate them. Anyway, time to see what's going on down there.
We haven't uncovered the Emperor's plan to destroy Voss yet, but he recently dispatched a Sith Lord named Fulminiss to this system.
Lord Fulminiss created the Harrowers you faced in the Emperor's fortress. Be wary. Fulminiss is a master at manipulating evolution to create unimagined horrors.
I don't know, after everything we've been through, I can imagine quite a lot, but my imagination is a fertile ground for growing nightmares. Anyway, he's in communication with the Emperor via good old-fashioned technology. He's using some relays to try to hide himself, so all I've got to do is just take those out and we can track it back to the source. Easy peasy. Yeah, for fuck's sakes. One thing that I've noticed has been different is that it seems like the leveling isn't working out the same way as it had on the dark side. It could entirely be the fact that there's been a change to the game itself, but I'm not doing anything differently than I did when I was doing the Bounty Hunter or the Sith Inquisitor, and yet the character is very underleveled for the planets that we wind up on. This mob, for instance, that's guarding the relay, they weren't by lore placed there to guard it. They were placed there by the game makers in order to have a challenge for you to overcome in order to be able to get to the relay. These things should take me at most maybe 20, 25 seconds. But it takes me a minute 12 to defeat them. Before we're finished with Voss, I'm going to have to go off and grind some levels. This is unacceptable. Dying to trash mobs means that something is going wrong. See, if only I could find the off switch on the monsters as fast as I did on this relay. We get to work taking out the rest, one of which has Gormak stationed around it. I don't know if they were just curious about it, if they happen to be in the area, or if they're actually working with the Sith. Well, even if they are just bystanders, they are not friendly bystanders, so they have to be dealt with for us to get to the final relay.
The signal's originating from a nearby cave. Fulminiss must be inside.
Lord Fulminiss is dangerous, as are his apprentices. This won't be easy.
Yeah, when everybody's got 6 levels on you, nothing is easy, is it? Yeah, sooner or later grinding is going to have to come into play here. The ways to do that are as follows. One, and the way they probably would like you to do it, is to play through the planetary missions. Now, that's all well and good, but the problem is that the planetary missions are the same across the entire side, which means that you have all 4 characters who are sharing the same planetary mission. This wouldn't be an issue, except that starting out the game was much more miserly about handing out experience points. If you did all of your class missions and all the planetary missions, you still were going to have trouble trying to keep up. There were no boosters to help you increase your XP, and none of the other tricks that you could try to do. You had to just, find it and try to keep up. Remember, originally, Star Wars The Old Republic was going to run on a subscription model, and the idea was to be a time sink, to make things take as long as possible to keep you playing. When that didn't work out, they started introducing all these other things, but by then, if you'd been playing a number of different alternate characters like I did, you wound up having to play through the same missions over and over again until you got kind of tired of them. The novelty wears off after a while. So, planetary missions, even though that they're worth more than a lot of the other ones, pass. Then there's PvP. For some people, this is actually the best possible way to level. However, that's not me. I'm alright with PvP. However, in Star Wars The Old Republic, PvP is going to involve pugs, unless you're already dedicated to it. Pug stands for pickup group, and it also should symbolize the image of a very tiny dog, because that's what it's like. You have 7 other tiny little dogs going up against what is effectively SEAL Team 6. These are people who have all honed their team as best as they possibly can. They got mics set up and everything, so they're communicating that way. You have to do the text thing in the box to try to convey quickly what they could say with just a word. Because, again, they're all on the same real-world team. Plus, you usually wind up with at least one person in your pug who PvPs all the time, yet for some reason is not actually in one of these groups, so he or she is always talking shit to their own teammates. They're these insufferable jackasses that you wonder, if you're so great, why is it that no one can stand being around you? So, we'll pass on that too. And there's running flashpoints. Well, while you're leveling, to somehow find a group of people that are also interested in doing a flashpoint at your level and can form an actual team with a tank and a healer and everything, it's pretty hard. And the experience points are not worth the effort. No. That leaves, by default then, 2 options. One is to grind by running around and just attacking whatever you can, or doing heroic missions. There's a little terminal for that on the station. That is the way we're going to go with this. The idea with heroic missions was that originally, as you played through, these were special missions that had to be done in groups. Well, since then they've realized that practically nobody is doing that while they're leveling, so they repurposed them into basically little tiny one-off missions. Some of them can be completed in just a couple of minutes even. Now, they're meant to be done in a group. However, thanks to the leveling system, you could probably get by with most of the ones at or below your level without a problem. After several years of these heroic missions, I know which ones I can get done quickly and will be within the range of my Jedi Knight skills. Sold.
I am Ray. You wear Jedi garb. Sith's sworn enemy. We want none of your war. I search for Fulminiss. Do not interfere.
What business do you have with him?
You fear I am his ally. I am not. I seek Vaylin Da. He is a powerful mystic. I am sworn to protect him. 3 days ago, Vaylin Da left the Mystic Temple with Lord Fulminiss. Neither have been seen since.
Well, that sounds like the kind of situation where we ought to be able to work together. However, she's so nervous about the Mystic getting hurt that she's disinclined to take my help. Fortunately, there are Sith ready to support my case.
Leave.
No! Get back, you foul monsters! You want to peel the flesh from our bones!
Thank you for that mental image.
The beasts want to feast on our innards! Kill them before they chew out our guts! Ah!
Come on, next to that, we have to look like the reasonable ones.
Called us monsters, mad with terror.
Yeah, I'd like to say that this is out of the ordinary, but crazy kind of comes with my job these days. There's a recording to explain why this guy's gone gaga.
Welcome back, Lord Fulminiss. The ritual preparations are complete. Is this Voss going to be our first test subject?
Vaylin Da is still useful to me. The same cannot be said of you.
No! Please don't! Ah! Ah! The monsters! I can see them! They're everywhere! They're all around me! No! No!
Okay, well, that's, evil. I'm just trying to figure out what the point of it was. I mean, yeah, granted, evil for its own sake kind of seems to be a Sith tradition, but nevertheless, whatever he's getting up to, it's got to be more than just, I'm going to make my lackey shit himself. So once the Sith is done doing, whatever the hell that was, he and his new mystic friend talk about heading to the Shrine of Healing, so that's got to be our next stop. And our new friend agrees.
Here, the location of my supply camp. Meet me there. We will continue our mission.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hike from the base camp all the way to the shrine, and then going through the shrine to finally get to where all the sacredness happens.
You'll live.
Thanks. Boy, they really put the action way back in here, didn't they?
Outsider, the mystic Vaylin Da told us you would come. You may enter the inner sanctum of the shrine.
Was Lord Fulminiss with him?
An outsider accompanied him.
Okay, I have permission to enter, but these guys spook easily. I've got to make my intentions clear first.
I'm going in.
Enter.
If I'm going to be seen as a wise Jedi after this war is over, I'm going to have to figure out how to keep my mouth shut.
Monsters! Demons! Nightmare creatures come to feed on our flesh!
Well, I think we can guess who is spreading joy this way. After finally putting down these poor bastards, we can finally get into the inner sanctum.
End your slaughter. We will not harm you.
I have no quarrel with you. I just want to find the Sith Lord.
Gone? We taught Fulminiss the healing ritual. He perverted it.
None of this would have happened if one of your own mystics wasn't working with the Sith.
The mystics are never wrong.
Just because I don't think they're dark side doesn't mean that they can't be incredibly infuriating.
Vaylin Da left a message in the corner.
How come this holo won't activate?
Take it to Ray.
What's with all the clues? Is the mystic playing some sort of game?
Our task is done.
Did I mention infuriating? Ugh. Alright, let's go show this to our Voss friend.
Outsider, I am Commander Frackin Null.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you.
Ray told me your mission.
It's worse than we thought. Fulminiss used a Sith ritual to drive his apprentices insane. At the shrine, he learned a technique to make it even more powerful.
This is known.
Yeah, Frockin' all frickin' knows already. Apparently word about the priest we killed got back here too, but fortunately that was part of a mystic's vision, so we got kind of a get out of jail free on that one. Our friend is able to get the holo recording to play for us.
Talaray, know my vision. Lord Fulminiss in a dark cave. Strange symbols adorn the walls. A corrupted ritual unleashes a plague of madness that drowns Voss in blood. You and the Jedi stand with us. Against him. Meet us in the Nightmare Lands. The Dark Heart.
Seems this is easier said than done. The dark heart of the Nightmare Lands isn't known to the Voss, only to the Gormak. So Frickin' Frack heads off and speaks to some of their scouts, who say that the Gormak have maps of that area, but they're kept in a vault that is heavily guarded. Well, I suggest that perhaps if the commandos are sent in, it will draw the Gormak forces away so that I can slip inside and get the maps for us to get there. He says, after a great deal of consideration, that the Mystics have endorsed this plan of attack, so he thinks he should bring a group of commandos in to draw the Gormak away, and then I can slip inside to the undefended vault and take the maps. Darn it, I'm going to compromise and go along with his plan. So Kira and I fight our way across the Golden Lands to take out the troops that are guarding these sacred eggs.
I've destroyed all the generators. The shields around the King's Vault are down.
We suffered many casualties. We will occupy the Gormak as long as possible.
Get your squad out of there before you lose any more people.
No. We leave, you'll fight Gormak reinforcements.
Don't throw your lives away.
We will begin a fighting retreat. Get the maps. Rendezvous at the Voss camp on the border of the Nightmare Lands.
Man, this is my job in a nutshell, isn't it? Not only do I have to go to a place called the Nightmare Lands, but I have to actually fight for the privilege of doing it. And they're not making it easy. No, I don't mean the fact that they're resisting. I mean, well, just look. Yeah, that's right. My to-do list includes battle a kaiju.
I can hear you in my head. How are you doing that?
So yeah, not just any old kaiju, a literal spawn of evil. Emperor sure knows how to pick 'em. Fortunately, despite being seriously underleveled, more on that in a moment, Kira and I are able to take him down, get the maps, and return to our friend at the Voss camp.
I have the maps. These should help us find the Dark Heart so we can stop Lord Fulminiss.
You ordered my squad to retreat, braved the Gormak reinforcements. We owe you our lives.
I wasn't alone. You risked your lives to help me. I appreciate that.
Gracious, and a great warrior, you killed many Gormak, like my husband. You remind me of him. Strong, fierce, an instrument of mystic will. Behold, the patron of glory. Eyes afire with righteous might. Skin bathed in the warm blood of the enemy. Witness the glory and blazing fury.
Real neighborly, those Voss, huh? We're going to split up and rendezvous with the Dark Heart. Draws less attention from the monsters if you're in smaller groups. This is where we run into a problem, though. I only beat that kaiju because I turned on the heroic moment that not only spends a couple minutes healing you and your companion, but during that time gives you access to legacy powers, which includes the flamethrower. So I grudgingly went off to grind after this. I naturally didn't record that footage, but when I started again, something went wrong, and so the climax of Voss is missing. I couldn't go back and redo it since this is an MMO, so there's no save points. And the only Jedi I have that's not completed the story hasn't even finished Nar Shaddaa. That's a lot of game to play through for just this one portion. So I'm going to have to just tell you what happens, but it's all right because in doing so I can actually give you the bigger picture. While Scourge was betraying the Emperor, Darth Barris of the Dark Council also betrayed him by tricking him into a Voss mystic's body that, once it entered the Dark Heart, where Selma Kor dwells, that's the one who created that horrible kaiju, well, once you went in there, you'd be unable to leave. Trapped and with no Emperor's wrath, the Hand reached out to one of Barris's former supporters after he betrayed her and left her for dead, to then become the new Emperor's wrath in Scourge's place. The new wrath was eventually sent to Voss to kill the host body and free the Emperor, during which a Voss hermit who aided her took temporary control of her body to determine how best to ensure that Selma Kor would remain imprisoned. Turns out he had a good reason for that, because after being freed, the Emperor either saw that Selma Kor could be used as part of his larger plan, or in fact had gone there specifically to help with his larger plan right now, and only been caught in the midst of it. It's a bit difficult to tell for sure. This whole cross-class storytelling thing can get a little bit confusing at times. Anyway, the Emperor was going to send Darth Fulminiss here to use this mystic to then create that special ritual, corrupting the healing thing, and to then head to the Dark Heart so that Selma Kor could unleash a world of hurt on, well, the world. And that would aid in the Emperor's ritual of consuming all life in the galaxy. The Hermit likely wanted the ritual as a backup because the reason that the mystic was helping Fulminiss was because a vision told him this was how Selma Kor was to be defeated once and for all, and so the mystic played along. After my Jedi kicks Fulminiss's ass, the mystic tells our friend that it's her destiny to head inside and destroy Selma Kor once and for all, at the cost of her own life. But the Jedi is unpredictable. The Jedi could stop her, either out of a lust for the power that Selma Kor offers, or because of attachment to our new Voss friend. Hence the need to have a plan B in the wings. But no, as sad as it is, allowing her to go through with it is the right thing. It's what she wishes and will save her people. And so thanks to her, Selma Kor is dealt with, the Emperor is thwarted on Voss, and we can move on.
Master Satele, I stopped Lord Fulminiss. He created a madness-inducing plague to turn this planet's inhabitants against each other. If he'd succeeded, Voss would have exploded into mindless violence. The entire planet would be a slaughterhouse.
The brutality of the Sith knows no bounds. I applaud you for a job well done. I know it wasn't easy dealing with the Voss people.
What, are you kidding me? After all the crap on Belsavis, Voss is practically a vacation. Speaking of which, I could use one, but I'm not going to get one, am I?
The Valiant is commanded by Admiral Dabron, one of our top military leaders. He's inflicted heavy casualties on Imperial forces. Admiral Dabron possesses complete knowledge of the Republic's war plans. If the Imperial military gains that information, they'll crush us.
You're missing the point. The fallen Jedi serves the Emperor's agenda. We must learn his mission.
Yeah, Warren was a part of our strike team, and so right now is a puppet of the Emperor. But it just means that you both have a valid point. We have to make sure that our secrets don't fall into Imperial hands, and we also have to find out what it is that Warren knows about the Emperor's plan. So let's, we do this doubly, let's work smarter, not harder. Oh, shit. All right, we can't surrender, Kira, but at the same time, let's not do anything to escalate this. The last thing we want to see is anything happen to these hostages. Oh, son of a... the moment that they gave me the plan, I was like, ideas are really great, but realistically, we're not going to bring in the Emperor alive and turn him to the light side, okay? We should be going in here with the plans of just taking him out. I know it's not the Jedi way, but... now here we are, up to our armpits and assholes.
No one else needs to die. Talk to me, Warren.
No. Don't let him get inside your head. He did something to my mind. Made me reveal the security codes for our entire fleet.
This flagship belongs to the Empire. Stay, and the Admiral's blood will be on your hands.
I gotta confess something. I've never really accepted that argument. As far as I'm concerned, if you murder someone saying it's someone else's fault that I murdered them, this just doesn't fly with me. So this ends the way that I really expected it to end. Another fight with one of my former comrades in arms.
Why do you insist on being a slave? With your power, you could be anything. You could rule worlds, crush all enemies, have any woman you want.
Come on, I have no interest in domination or power or... Oh, tell me more about that third one again. No, never mind.
I'll never return to the Jedi. This war is nearly over. Master Braga will lead the Empire to victory on Corellia. Billions will die.
You just told me how to stop the Emperor. Either you want that, or you're lying.
He wouldn't kill the Admiral, and now this. I think he's trying to help.
Why would I be afraid to tell you that you've already failed? Corellia will fall, and the Republic with it.
This man tricked me into revealing our fleet security codes. The Empire will annihilate us if that information gets out.
Now, come on, just change the codes. You gotta do it all the time, right? This guy's not going anywhere in the next 5 minutes. You go sort your problem out, and we'll sort him out. Okay, well, that works too. We're compromising. He's gonna keep him sedated into unconsciousness so that he can't make any trouble until the Jedi can come and claim him. I can't do it because, Corellia, hotbed, the annihilation of all life in the galaxy, that takes precedence over hauling this guy back to Tython.
The Emperor has no interest in keeping Corellia. He desires the deaths of billions to fuel his ritual.
Find Master Braga and stop this madness. Set course for Corellia immediately.
Crap. Nothing like having the job of thwarting massive death in a place currently engaged in a game whose final score is determined by massive death. I feel like I'm trying to enforce sobriety at Burning Man. And that's just the normal facts of life in war. In this case, Darth Barris is intentionally undermining the Imperial campaign, leading to deaths. Thanaton is declared a Kagath, forcing the two sides to destroy the power base of the other on Corellia, leading to death. And unknown to them, a conspiracy has been working to get the Republic and Empire to annihilate each other on Corellia thanks to misinformation, leading to, yes, lots of death. This situation would be built to fuel the Emperor's ritual even if he wasn't trying. And even if, miraculously, those three all stopped what they were doing, and the Republic were to withdraw to end the war, the Emperor would simply order the subjugated Corellians to be exterminated. Ironically, continuing the killing is the best way to ensure there's less killing overall. Man, I feel sorry for whoever is in charge on Corellia.
We need strong leadership to win this battle. I'm naming you Supreme Commander of Jedi Forces on Corellia.
Fate usually gives me reasons to feel sorry for myself.
Your mission is twofold. Direct our forces to aid the Republic military's efforts, and personally find Master Braga.
Yeah, we're sending in a lot of less experienced Jedi to back me up. The conspiracy kept sending our Jedi and their Sith enemies into situations where they could face each other, and the Jedi Master working with the Chancellor got him and his followers killed, pursuing a personal vendetta. Thank you very much for that. This planet is a death trap that makes Tomb of Horrors look like a carousel ride. I'm pretty much the leader only because no one else is left.
I want those shield generators online yesterday. Move it, privates!
Captain Rickdean, Master Satil Shan sent me. I'm the new Jedi Commander.
You made it. Thank the skies. The Empire controls so much of Corellia we could barely establish a landing zone. The enemy has us under constant bombardment. We're in a blasted bottleneck.
I'll deal with that once I've rallied the Jedi on the ground. Master Satil said you could help.
I've sent more of your people home in body bags than I want to count. There aren't many of you left.
Please, stop talking for just 30 seconds. I need to take all the bad news on already that you've given me before you keep piling on more, because at this rate, it's going to snap my spine. Oh, I want to go to my happy place, but I'm terrified it's been bulldozed and turned into an Arby's.